Oh, okay.
All right. Boo bitches. Welcome to episode 60 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. I'm River Kane.
And I'm Rin Graves.
Yes, she's back with us. That's why we're a bit late this week. We wanted to try to do this episode together. So she's come to my house and we're trying to get this done together. So sorry we're a few days late. Today we're going to talk about animal symbolism and animals and magic. But first, how was your trip to Europe?
It was very fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I was expecting most of the time. We did a lot of, let's say, hiking around and all of that. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of going to the bathroom outside. Yes, I'm an expert now.
Because they don't have toilets, or just because you were out in the middle of nothing?
Because we were out in the middle of nothing a lot of the times. And when we were in towns, they were like really small, sketchy towns, and I was scared for my life sometimes. But Europe was really fun. I've definitely gained a lot of experiences that I'll never forget. I definitely want to go back.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully soon.
That's cool. That's so neat. And then you start school again soon, right?
Yeah, I start in a couple of days. That's going to be fun.
And you still are working.
Yeah, and I work on top of that. So my work is trying to figure out my schedule, and they want like how my work is, like how we function is we are very collaborative. So we're trying to make sure everybody's schedule overlaps, so everybody's in the office at least once or twice a week all together. So we're trying to figure that out. But right now, I think I'm gonna miss the first day, I'm not gonna miss school, but on the first day of school, I'm gonna miss work that day, just so I can adjust myself to my school schedule before my work schedule. And I know that's because a lot of people are only available on Wednesdays and Fridays, and I'm not gonna be there on one of those days, and so they're only gonna see me. Yeah, we're figuring it out. But
yeah, and y'all, it's going to make it hard for us to continue doing our podcast together, but we are going to try. We really want to do it. I feel like it's such a better podcast when we're both here.
Well, I think that you've been doing a great job alone.
Well, thank you.
I do tend to listen. I'm not just like, yeah, it's all River's like problem now.
I feel like they log in and they hear it's just me again, and they're like, oh no.
I don't think so. But yeah, we're trying to work out a schedule so that I can frequently be back on our podcast.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we may have to switch it up to do it at a weird time every week or something, but we'll try to get them posted on Fridays like usual, but I don't know when we're going to have to figure out our recordings.
Yeah, we have very chaotic schedules this time of year, so
then football starts, so that's my massive thing. I love college football.
So do you guys hear that? College football is more priority to River than you guys.
I love football. What can I say? So I have Ren here as a guinea pig. So I made some drinks, and the cocktail today, I'm calling this one the supernatural serial killer.
Okay.
I mean, as the listeners know, I've been really into strawberries and watermelon lately, so I felt like fresh strawberries. I made a drink last week that had frozen strawberries, and it was a little bit bitter, so I thought I would try this fresh strawberries, and now that I've got a guinea pig here with me, it was fun. It's, I call it the supernatural serial killer because you can't have just one. And if you drink too many, you feel like dying. So just kidding. So I made this with that red kinky liqueur. I don't know if y'all know that. They've got different colors of the kinky. And this one, I had red up there. So I used red and then tequila and fresh strawberries, ice and simple syrup. And you mix it in a blender. I wanted another cold drink because it's been so hot here. And then you enjoy it. It's nice and red. It looks kind of bloody. So I may make this one for Halloween. Probably tweak it a little bit. And you think maybe adding lime might?
Lemon.
Lemon. Okay, maybe add lemon to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm very glad to have my guinea pig back because it's horrible to do all this tasting by myself. By the time I get to the third drink, I'm like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Okay, on to the topic at hand. So we've talked about animals as familiars, but there is so much more to animal magic than that. Of course, the most common association with witches is the black cat, but also maybe crows and toads and bats as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? I think
I would say the black cat would be the most common association people have with witches.
Yeah.
And you may have heard several terms associated with magic and animals, like spirit animal, power animal, familiars, of course, and animal totems. And there's a little bit of difference between all of these things. So a spirit animal is a supernatural being that is believed to connect with humans on a higher level, like a spiritual level.
Do you know where spirit animal comes from?
No.
I'm pretty sure I did not fact check this, but I remember seeing like a source or something that said that spirit animals come from indigenous practices.
There are the totem animals, I think, are a really strong indigenous practice. But yes, I think the term spirit animal as well. That's why people get a lot of these terms confused, because they are a little bit different, but you hear them interchangeably.
Oh, wow. Add that to the dictionary.
It's a new word. I made it up. Spirit animals are animal spirit guides who appear when we need them, like when we need love, strength, support, inspiration, and guidance. Your spirit animal will present to you during these times when you consciously, I think, or unconsciously call on it. You might not even be aware of the fact that you're calling for that help. Another definition of spirit animal is our spirit animal guides us through the journey of life, showing us how to find the answers to life's problems within ourselves. It shares a bond with the person it is associated with based on the characteristic traits of both, which I've got a whole list of animals and the character associations, the traits associations with them that I'll talk about in a little bit. But like, for example, if a lion is your spirit animal, then it will represent your strength and courage. On the other hand, a hummingbird symbolizes a person's peaceful nature and who seeks the good even in the darkest things in life, which I didn't know that about hummingbirds.
Yeah.
We have hummingbirds out on our deck.
Yeah, they're very pretty.
They're so cute.
Yeah, that one little one.
Little teeny tiny one. They're so cute. However, this does not mean you have to have physical contact with your spirit animal. As its name suggests, you just have that inner connection to the animal. You actually might encounter your spirit animal through dreams, encounters, like particularly in odd places. Have you ever gone somewhere and seen a butterfly that doesn't really belong there? That kind of clue is a key to finding out what your spirit animal is. Images that you receive when you're meditating, how pictures flit through your mind when you're meditating. Pictures on advertisements and products that just call to us. Sense cues like hearing, smell, taste, touch, psychic impression. So that's a spirit animal. And then familiars, as we did a whole episode on familiars, a familiar spirit enters your life when you become involved with some type of magic, witchcraft, or shamanism. You may invite your familiar into your life, or it may find you, which I feel like is how my carpenter bees found me.
Yeah.
But as I said, we did an episode on this. So if you want to hear more about familiars, go check that out. It's episode 16, I think. Next is power animal.
Okay.
So throughout your life, power animals will come and go to guide you, assist you, and protect you. They can be summoned, or they can come on their own if you ever need them. They come to teach you a lesson, to guide you through a spiritual journey, a struggle, a creative process, that kind of thing. Power animal is a spiritual energy that you call on from within to invoke for assistance in a specific situation.
Oh, okay.
So it comes and goes, and it might be different ones each time, depending on what you need.
Hmm.
It's a power animal, and it's not going to be the same one every time, depending on what you need.
Mm-hmm.
The power animal may infuse your spirit with its energy through dreams, during meditation, or in physical form. The gifts, didn't you see a fox or something on campus when you were walking across? You saw a squirrel, I know.
I saw a turtle.
A turtle.
I saw multiple turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the squirrels wanted to fight me. They did. They were getting ready to fight me. But then with the squirrels, to like when I was walking, it was for work, and the squirrels were on the left wanting to fight me, and then there was a turtle in the middle of the pathway that I was walking on. I had no idea where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
It was, like I walked there like not even 2 minutes earlier, turned around, there's a turtle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen multiple turtles, multiple instances.
I feel like, that's a power animal that might have been there for some reason
to protect me from the squirrels.
Maybe so. Let's see. The gifts of a powerful animal manifest that the power animal manifests comes directly from their natural symbolism and meaning. We'll have to look up what turtle. It might be on my list.
I saw a lot of turtles while in Europe as well.
See, maybe turtle is something. I haven't seen a turtle probably in, I don't know, 25,
it was
30
like,
years.
Like the symbols of the turtle. So like like those cute like little collective knickknack stores. There were a whole ton of turtle figures because my husband and I, we collect Buddhas, and so we were similar sort of statue-esque like that. And they didn't have any Buddhas, but they had a lot of turtles.
Interesting.
And that wasn't like the
I don't think I've seen those since I was like 3 years old. I don't remember seeing turtles.
There are turtles everywhere.
But I don't see them, and you do. That's interesting.
I see the turtles.
Power or magical animal is a spiritual guardian that some people connect with, but much like other spiritual entities, there's no rule or guideline that says you have to have one or anything like that. And if you're not aware, then maybe you don't even know that there's one there.
Yeah.
And then lastly is animal totems. A totem animal is actually who you are. This isn't something that changes.
Okay.
Individual totemism is where we see the modern reawakening of the intimate spiritual animal connections expressed more clearly. A person believes that an animal or natural object gives them power. This totem becomes a part of their ego through a bond that likely begins before birth, as if there is a soul to connect the two of them, between that totem and the human, to work together. And then like group totemism might involve your family. There might be an animal that's tied to your family or a clan, or maybe a coven.
Okay.
Yeah. A totem animal is a spirit guide that stays with you for all of your life. And I feel like, is there an animal that you've just always felt connected to?
Yeah. My dog.
Your dog? Yeah, I've always felt connected to wolves. From the time I was little, wolves have been a thing.
I haven't had anything like that with like any other animal, which, it's funny because you're like, oh, what's your favorite animal as a kid? And you're like, you come up with something like, oh, giraffe, elephant,
a dragon.
A dragon. But for me, I never really had those. And then I had my dog, and she's just something.
You've always been a dog person.
Yeah. Yeah, but she specifically herself. I can't explain it.
Yeah. I've always loved wolves. I mean, it's always been a thing. And one of my nieces, she's so cute. She found a book at a book fair at school and got it for me. This is for our aunt because she loves wolves. So, I mean, it's obvious to everybody, my connection with wolves, which I find interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to animals in magic, which may be an entirely different thing than what I was just talking about. So humans have associated great qualities with animals since ancient times, like speed for the roadrunner, or bravery, or ferocity, dominance, that kind of thing. And this has turned into symbolism, using animals to relate stories and legends and that kind of thing. As time passed, these associations and legends became more and started to infiltrate our everyday language. So in many societies, it's not uncommon to hear those idioms like brave as a lion, or you have a memory like an elephant, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you say memory like an elephant, do they have really good memory?
Supposedly, that's what they say.
I'm not picking you apart on the part of the magic. I'm picking you apart on the sayings.
I don't know how they tested that.
I don't know either. That's why I'm so curious.
How do you test their memory? Like with us, humans, you do, here's 5 words, and then you move on and do other things, and you see if they can remember the 5 words after they've got. Well, how do you do that with an elephant?
Maybe it's similar tests like that, where
like maybe the food is always in a particular place, and do they remember?
Or maybe something. Like that.
I don't know.
Okay.
So I also wanted to mention animal sacrifices because that is a thing.
Ooh.
I know. I've got to mention it because it was a common practice in many cultures in the past, and it's actually still goes on in some religions today. I know. As you all probably know that story from the Bible where God told the children of Israel to kill an animal and splash the blood on their door. And that night, because he was going to pass through Egypt and slay every firstborn son of the Egyptians. And when he passed, he spared all of those that had the animal blood on it. So even animal sacrifice is mentioned in the Bible.
Okay, I'm going to pick this apart a little bit. Since we're considered animals, would just cutting your hand and putting blood on the door, or maybe like
I think the Bible thinks of humans as more than animals, which I agree with you. But yeah, I mean, and there was a story to be learned in that,
I suppose.
Yeah, that's to me, that's what the Bible is more about. I hope I don't offend anybody out there, but it's more stories to try to get people to behave, basically. Try to teach people, quote, how to be good.
I guess.
Yeah. I guess. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not a Christian, so, I don't mean to offend anybody out there. But animal sacrifices were also a way to appease the gods, or turn the fates in their favor. Like I watched Vikings on TV, and, not that I'm saying the Viking show is 100% real of how it was, but they did sacrifice animals to try to gain favor for whatever it was that they were looking for. We need a good harvest, so you sacrifice an animal.
Ooh.
Yeah, I agree.
Ooh.
Voodoo and Santeria are also examples of magic that might involve animal sacrifices. I mean, we are all, we have these stereotypes in our head because of what we see on TV.
Yeah.
But I think I mentioned this before, the Santeria religion was the one that caused the Supreme Court of the United States to rule that you can do that, because if it's a religion, there is freedom of religion. And so I think I talked about that in one episode. I don't know if you were with me or not. It might have been when you weren't. So. Yeah. And those still happen today.
Ooh.
We'll probably do more episodes. I am interested in voodoo and hoodoo and Santeria, and I know nothing about them. So it would be interesting to me to do an episode on those so that we could research and maybe pass on that information. Okay, so moving on from sacrifices, which none of us are very happy about, animal symbolism. So many religions, cultures, and witch practitioners use the symbolism of the animals in their lives, routines, or spells. So I've got to talk about the cat, because obviously that's the number one symbol.
Yeah, I don't know. I love animals, and I love cats, and I love dogs. And going back to the sacrifice, I can't.
I know.
Any animal.
Well, I mean, there is a way to, quote, sacrifice animals without actually killing an animal. Like if you make a puppet that represents an animal for whatever the purpose is, you can use the puppet, or, cook a cookie in the shape of a deer if you need that and then you can use the cookie parts in your spell. So there's ways to do it without, I must say that blood magic is probably super strong. And that's another thing that we need to research and do an episode on.
Yeah.
I did an episode on bone magic, which is similar. But yeah, anyway, there lots more episodes to come on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the cat. Cats are symbolic of many things: change, rebirth, resurrection, darkness, unpredictability, and subtlety, mysticism, and healing. Good luck. Also bad luck, like poor little black cats.
Well, that's just like, that like
a modern, well, I don't know. It's not so modern. There is a history of black cats being ostracized as well, because they used to think that witches could turn into cats.
Yeah, poor little black cats.
I know.
So sad.
Curiosity, of course. We've all heard curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah.
Cleverness, mysteriousness, sensitivity, independence, spontaneity, playfulness. They are playful. Attentiveness. They can be kind of creepy when they're super attentive too. When they're staring at something.
Listen. Okay. I didn't want to say anything on the podcast yet, but my husband wanted to get a cat because of our trip to Europe, right?
Right.
So we got a cat, and it's funny because he'll wake up and he'll say, "She was so creepy last night," because she'll sit there in the bed. I'm asleep, and she'll just stare at him. And it's just the funniest thing, because he'll wake up and he's like, she's staring at me. And I'm like, what do you mean?
She's probably thinking, wake up, human, and give me food.
Yeah, give me food. Play with me, right? But no, because like, it's just so funny. His reactions. He was like, "She's so creepy at night." And I was
That's
like,
hilarious.
I've never seen that.
They really are kind of creepy when they stare intently at something, especially if they're staring intently at something that we don't see. That's creepy.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't had that happen yet, but probably we will.
Yeah, in the Middle Ages, they thought that cats were actually dead people that were sent back as punishment for wow. Okay, y'all. So, like I said, this is a serial killer drink. For committing evil acts. Wow. Okay. Cats represent. They were represented in social and religious practices in ancient Egypt. I think everybody knows about the connection with cats and Egyptians for more than 3,000 years. Several of their Egyptian gods were actually depicted with cat heads. I mean, I think that you've done some classes with art history and stuff. So you may have seen some of these statues with gods. I think like Bastet, I think was one. Sekhmet, who represented justice, fertility, and power. And then they said, I came across this, and I don't know about this. The deity Mut or Mut, M-U-T, was also depicted as a cat and in the company of a cat. So they were very important in Egyptian culture, the cats. So they were domesticated about 4,000 years ago. And the ancient Egyptians also used cats to control mice and rats. I mean, you got to think they had big cities. And so just like you would think back in the Middle Ages, they needed the cats to kill all the rats and stuff that spread diseases.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm really bad at geography, but there's one of my friends. She is an exchange student from
Egypt?
Iran.
Oh, Iran. Okay.
And they have so many stray cats. She always says that it's crazy because she never sees cats here or like stray dogs usually, because like we live in a city, so like it's not very prevalent here. But she's like, where she's from, there's a lot of stray cats. And now I don't know geography wise how close to, like, let's say Egypt or something like that it is, but it's very interesting. I think they're pretty close.
I have no idea.
I think they're in the same region. And so cats, like having
they're
a lot
definitely
of
in the Middle East. Yeah.
And then having a connection with cats in ancient Egypt and being worshipped, like I don't know. I feel like there's a connection there.
There might be. Yeah, there might be.
Maybe cats are the things that crash landed onto the planet with aliens.
Maybe so. Maybe they're the original creatures on this world. So not only to control mice and rats, which, keeps disease away, the Egyptians also had symbolism and meaning for the cats, that because of their hunting abilities, and also, did you know no one was able to kill a cat or they would face the death penalty in Egypt? That's how important they were. Yeah.
No killing, no sacrificing the cats.
That's right. India, Japan, Babylon, Rome, all of these cultures have gods that are associated with cats.
I like that.
So another...
See? Hold on. That's why cats think they're so high in power and they rule everything, because they did at one point.
That's right. Did you know? So King Charles I of England in the 17th century loved his black cat. He had a black cat and he loved that cat. And he even had his royal guards make sure that the cat remained safe. The day after his cat died, the king was arrested in the midst of the English Civil War, and the king's supporters claimed that it was his cat that was the source of the misfortune, and some even believed that this cat was a witch in disguise. So, blame it on the witches, as usual.
But it was just a cat.
It was just a cat, and he loved his cat.
Poor cat.
And they're like, oh, no, it's the cat's fault that we're in this horrible economic situation.
Poor king.
Poor king,
poor people,
cat.
Poor cat.
So how can we use animal symbolism in our magic? So dream interpretation. We did an episode, I feel like, on
we
dreams.
did a dream episode.
Spell casting, you can use the form of the animal, like a sigil, draw a sigil for whatever it is that you're trying to get infused into your spell. Altar decoration. Imbue your altar with the symbolism of particular animals for whatever purpose it is that you're needing at the moment. Divination. So remember in Harry Potter, Professor Trelawney had them reading the tea leaves, and she saw the Grim in Harry's cup. That's what I'm talking about. You can use animal symbolism and divination, because the Grim meant death, I guess, or impending danger, and that. If you want to bring the introspection of a raven to a ritual, then you might collect feathers from the forest, and include them in the ritual. You got to be careful with collecting natural things from the forest, though, because some birds carry diseases and things. So you got to be careful with that.
That's the one thing I always remember growing up, is to never pick up bird feathers because they could carry diseases. And I just vividly remember my parents yelling at me not to touch bird feathers. And so now whenever I see a bird feather on the ground, I'm like, disease.
Well, I mean, you can, if you're going foraging, you can take the plastic gloves, which might not be a bad idea anyway, for when you're foraging berries or whatever, and you need to clean stuff. And then you could pick up the feathers and clean them at home. Without actually physically touching them. I feel like the world is very much more aware of transmission of diseases after COVID.
I don't know. After being in Europe, I feel like certain parts of Europe are very lacking in certain knowledge, because some people would just touch raw meat and then just wipe their hands off with a towel and not wash their hands with soap.
Interesting.
And
I would have thought they would have the same education.
Well, it's small things like that I was like,
wow.
Oh, whoa. And it wasn't just one person that did it. It was multiple people that would do it. So I knew that it wasn't common knowledge.
Interesting.
That was something that needed to happen after you touch raw meat, because you could get sick.
Yeah. Interesting.
It was very interesting. There's more things like that I picked up on while I was over there in like those specific parts, but I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
Interesting. Because I really would have thought with COVID, I mean, as horrifying as that was, and it shut us all down, that people would be ultra careful.
No.
Wow. you can use animal symbolism in jewelry. So, like, wear jewelry with the talisman of your spirit animal, or, you know, what are they called? A charm that represents something that you need that day. Or if you're making one of those sachets, or the jar spell, and you need something like a spider, whatever spider, which I'll get to. I don't remember what the spider is off the top of my head, but you can put a spider charm in your sachet or potion bottle for your jar spell.
I hate spiders, though.
I think they're very intelligent creatures. We'll see if I have them on my list. I don't remember what's on my list. I would note something to think about, that if you want to do a spell, this is what I was talking about earlier, that requires an animal sacrifice without having to actually kill the animal. You can use something that represents the animal, like a cookie, like I said, or a drawing of the animal, that kind of thing. Okay. So what do some animals mean? An alligator means aggression, survival, adaptability. An ant is a team player or worker. An armadillo is active, nocturnal protection.
Okay.
A bat is guardian of the night or a cleaner. A bear is power and adaptability. A bear paw is strength and mobility. A beaver is a builder and a gatherer. A bobcat is a fierce loner and intensity. Buffalo means sacredness and life builder. A bull means strength and warning. Here's the butterfly. Butterfly means metamorphosis, carefree, and transformer. Or it could mean transforming from one thing to the next. So if you're in a dark place and you're hoping to come out into the light, just like a butterfly goes from caterpillar and breaks out into this beautiful thing, you might want to use the symbolism of a butterfly in your spell if you're trying to move past something dark. A camel is weary and enduring. Why would you ever want to cast something that has weariness? I'm already tired enough.
Well, if you're trying to curse someone, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. You could use it in a curse or a hex.
Make someone weary.
I don't need any. Maybe I've been cursed. I don't know.
I tend to think that all the time. I'm like, man, I'm feeling really bad. And it's like, I think I've been cursed. And my husband's like, didn't you just drink like 10 glasses of wine last night? And I'm like, maybe.
Cat, independence, grace, and healing. A cougar is leadership and courage. A cow is patience and stoicism. A coyote is a prankster, insight, and playful. A crane, what's a crane? Oh, it's
like a bird.
Yeah. A crane is solitude and independence. A crow is destiny and transformation, cunning and intelligence. I'm also a mischievous trickster.
Wow, that one's long.
A lot to do with crows, probably because it also is associated with witches, so there was more on it.
Yeah.
Deer are love, gentleness, and kindness. A dog is loyalty, protection, friendship, and adventure.
Aww.
A dolphin is kindness, play. Bridge man to ocean. I'm not quite sure what that means. I guess it's our connection to the ocean can be seen through a dolphin. Dragonfly, flighty and carefree. Eagle.
What is flighty?
Like me. Going from one thing to another. Very kind of the opposite of OCD, like ADHD type behavior, where you can't, you're taken with flights of fancy. I have that problem.
Okay.
Eagle, divine spirit, connection to the creator. Elephant, long life, self-preservation, which I feel like elephant should also be memory. If you're needing to do a memory spell, then maybe the elephant might not be a bad idea. Elk, strength, agility, freedom. Fox, cunning, provider, intelligence. Frog, connection with water element. I hope some of these you guys are connecting with you. Some of these might be your spirit animals and whatnot.
Yeah.
A goat is stubborn and omnivorous.
A goat.
Omnivorous. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Why you would ever need that in a, I don't know. Okay. Gorilla, brute strength and adaptability. A goose is faithful, communicative, and a traveler. A grizzly bear is a hunter and nature's pharmacist. A hawk, this one's interesting, is a messenger and stopper of time.
Oh, stopper of time.
Yeah. That's interesting. So I guess if you need in a spell more time to get something achieved, then you might want to use the hawk symbolism. A hippo links the water and earth elements and also means survival. A horse is stamina, mobility, and strength. I also think of horses as being regal. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Hummingbird, messenger, stopper of time, another stopper of time.
Well, I feel like that makes sense with the hummingbird for some reason.
Yeah, they do kind of, when you look at them, it doesn't look like they're moving. Their wings are going so fast.
Some reason that makes sense for the hummingbird.
A kangaroo is feisty and fun-loving. A lion, power, strength, and respect. A lizard, conservation and agility. A loon, which is also a bird, right? Solitude, song, and romance. Okay, so a loon for romance. A manatee, wow, I've got a whole list of these. A manatee is peaceful and unassuming. A monkey is playfulness and agility. A moose is headstrong, unstoppable, longevity. A mouse is timid, secretive, and sneaky. An orca is focus and power. An ostrich is fickle and fast-moving. So that's the opposite of stopping time, is making it move faster.
Yeah.
An otter means laughter, curiosity, truth, and patience. Oh, here's another long one. I think owls. Yeah, owls.
With
wisdom, of course, perseverance, perception, intuition, pierce through illusion to see the truth. Oh, that would be super helpful in spells. Symbolic death, heralding change.
I think owls are also associated with aliens.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Like that movie.
Yeah.
The Fourth Kind?
Yeah. Traumatized me as a child.
A panda is playfulness and kindness. A pelican is ever watchful and grace. A penguin is playful and loving. A pig is intelligence and hunger. Hunger. I guess that might be another one to use in a hex.
Well, you can also do hunger as in like if you're trying to do like something, a weight loss spell or a weight gain spell, you might want to gain hunger, or you might want to lose hunger.
Interesting. Rabbit, alertness and resourceful. A raccoon, bandit. That's so funny. A bandit, shy and determination.
It's only a bandit because it looks like it has a little mask on to hide its identity.
Raven is trickster and mischievousness. Roadrunner, speed, agility, and cleverness. That's like the Roadrunner cartoon from the Warner Brothers. I don't know. Salmon is instinct, persistence, and determination. I can see that because they run upstream against the current to mate.
Oh.
Seahorse, confidence and grace. Skunk, wary, conspicuous, and intense. I would say a skunk is intense. A snake is shrewdness and transformation. Okay, here's spider. Creative, pattern of life.
Gross.
So see, that would be very helpful.
Gross.
A squirrel, trusting and innocence, unless they're after Wren.
Yeah, unless if they're in a clump of 5 and they're all looking like they're gonna kill me. Jeez.
A swan is grace, balance, and festive. A turkey is smart and elusive, unless they're on a farm where they can't get away and they are Thanksgiving dinner.
Poor turkey.
I know. Water buffalo, enormous strength and hardworking. Here's wolf, loyalty, success, and perseverance. A wolf paw is freedom, success, and guidance. and a zebra is family-oriented and alert. Now, this list did not have my carpenter bees on it. So my familiar is the carpenter bees. And so I was curious to what does that mean? Because it was not on this list. So I found this. Carpenter bees don't live in hives like other bees. They live in a solitary, not confinement.
Oh, wow. Could you just imagine a bee in solitary confinement?
They are solitary creatures and they pollinate flowers.
I would like a sticker of that, of a bee in
solitary confinement. The spirit of a carpenter bee reminds us that we should stay close to nature, get some time for yourself, and spend some time between the trees and flowers, which I love that.
Sounds like you need to listen to your familiars a little bit.
And go outside?
And go outside and take time for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I do need to do that.
Yeah.
You're right. So spirit animal carpenter bees remind us that it's not always important to stick to others. A carpenter bee can guide you to be productive and enjoy your life alone.
Oh, and it's kind of like you need to take care of yourself and go get your nails done.
I don't want to get my nails done.
I'm trying to convince River to go get our nails done after this, but she does not want to.
I have to resin for my Etsy shop. Got to make stuff.
You can resin with pretty nails.
No, that's nails.
Oh, you could just get a good nail.
So other bees, like non-carpenter bees, they are actually community social creatures. They live in hives. And so they are a symbol of society, the sun, and personal power. Among ancient societies, we find the most interest in bees in the records of Druids and Celtic tradition. The Druids believed that the bees represented the sun, the goddess image, celebrations, and social consciousness, which makes sense because they are a hive.
Yeah.
And it isn't uncommon for insects to be familiars or animal spirits. Actually, when I'm outside sitting on the deck, I think that the mosquitoes think I'm their familiar.
Yeah.
Because they eat me.
Yeah, I was sitting outside yesterday and I'm not joking, 20 bites from just mosquitoes. And it was probably like the same mosquito, but there were a couple on my arm, but they were mostly on my feet.
That was me. I mean, because I had jeans on the last time I went outside and my feet had bites all over them. Ugh, it was awful. Yeah. So yeah, I think the mosquitoes think I'm their familiar. So that's all we have for today. Obviously, there is a ton more information on this. We could go into deep dives on some of this stuff. But thank you for listening. I am so glad to have Ren back. Come check us out on our website, www.c3witchypodcast.com. There you can find links to our social media, our episodes, links to some of our merch. I actually haven't put up the links to Bats and Baubles where a bunch of our merch is, so I've got to do that. So come check out my store if you want to see our merch there. Right now we got tank tops, t-shirts, and water bottles on there.
Okay.
For all 4 C3 Witchy Podcast.
Now we just need to add a sticker with a bee in solitary confinement.
That's true. That's true. My Etsy store is www.batsandbaublesinc.etsy.com, and Bats and Baubles Inc. is all one word. I've got all kinds of fun witchy things up for sale, more each week. I'm trying to work hard to get those up. So stay witchy, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks. And we'll be back.
We'll be back.